Math Squad, assemble! And we are assembling like a piece of IKEA furniture. Adam Light, back, Married at First Sight, and we are talking about up to episode 9, almost like a where are we now? A little bit of a let's look at the whole picture and bring people up to date if they haven't seen it already and need a flash through as we get into the thick dramas with Yes Week, with them dropping new couples in. And while I've got you, please remember we've got stories on Instagram if you're picking this up on YouTube, by following Adam Light Reality Show. We've also got, again, sometimes exclusive stories over on YouTube, and again, you can find that with Adam Light Reality Show. So we're just growing, and now on TikTok, and we're flowing, and again, thank you so much for all the new people being on board. So now we've assembled, let's flipping get into it. Jordan and Shanita, kind of the sweetest couple I think I've seen ever. They're closer probably to dropping the L word than either one of them would want to admit. And since meeting, it's just been kind of perfect from the beginning, taking it slow, taking it easy. Although it seems like from the clips I've just seen, there's a little bit of drama coming, which I'm interested to see how Jordan deals with that. Is he going to be like a united front? Is he going to be very much supporting? Or is it going to be question marks about how he sees those situations? Again, I hope he's just got a corner, which he should do, but with what looks like little conversations that are happening behind people's backs. But perfect start, seemed like a perfect couple, and as much as those cleaning skills I don't think she was that impressed with, I can honestly say from a male perspective, I sat there and there was three standing ovations in that cleaning that I can honestly say I gave to Jordan. So I'm impressed. The fact he didn't dance with bleach wipes on his feet to bleach the floor was the only criticism that I personally can have. You've got to use that rhythm to bleach the floor. However, I'll argue it maybe was carpeted, so anyway, give them a break. Next one, Jenna and Zoe. This one's an interesting one. I feel like they're going with the narrative of this veganism, and maybe this, will they be open-minded? I think it's a big message for everyone out there when you've just got a particular belief or something that you feel is a little bit of a limiter in some capacity. People change opinions. I think it's a classic lead by example thing, and with this is exactly what Jenna's doing. Zoe is being open-minded, making those meals, but I think she's just making a few stubborn statements that's having, maybe Jenna feeling a little bit more where she's not being listened to. And I think that's there's going to be some nice back and forth there, which will be, and it's an interesting dynamic to discuss, as well as first lesbian couple. So again, interested to see the dynamics of how that's working with a gay couple in there, which is just interesting to see. There's been like a few moments where you've seen different ideals or different attitudes towards, let's say, marriage, and it's really, really interesting. So again, I didn't think until I saw a post by Adrian a few days ago in relation to thinking back, and it's great how much people have evolved, and please continue to, but a few years ago this was illegal, and it wasn't until I stopped and thought, oh yeah, it really was, and now look at where people like Jenna and Zoe are helping us to get to. But I think that now, like I said with Zoe, that natural stubbornness is going to be something that might be a blocker. But we move on to Thomas and Adrian, who are two really strong people. For me, Thomas I called at the beginning as my groom of the season, and for comedy value and for absolute being battling over laughing a few times, I think I nailed that one. The interesting dynamic, because Adrian, a teacher by profession, and I feel that he has gone parental, he's gone teacher mode, and that is, I think, going to be a hindrance. I find it interesting because there's been accusations of manipulation, and I can't personally see it either. But again, I think what you've got here is two really strong characters. Adrian, seems like a lovely gent, and for our Thomas, just again a few question marks, I think, in relation to, has he stirred the pot a few times? This is a necessity, I think, with this show personally. But again, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. I just love Tom. Now we're going to slow it down. For the couples that have slowed it down, starting with Jess and PJ. with the next few couples, I kind of don't get one narrative. It's almost like just have sex. Am I missing something here? If I go into even the marriage show and I get married to somebody and you just ain't feeling it, what do you just? Am I missing the fact that I should just try and go with it anyway, even though I know they're going to talk about the intimacy, which adds pressure. I don't know. Can you hear my voice? The squimming-ish. I'm squimming. I'm telling you. So I just feel for a couple of these couples, which are Jess and PJ, Kwame and Keisha, and Richie and Lara, where it just seems to be there's been a few little road bumps, speed bumps on the road to love. So Jess and PJ, again, rocky start, the whole stripper thing, but I feel like she's got over that now, and he's just kind of getting to know and getting him to come out of his shell, and it seems like they're moving in the kind of the right direction. But I don't like this forcing of moving, racing forward. I think there's been some big growth there. So I just feel that's a little bit off of a request from people, but it seems to be generally that's the theme. And for me, she's been really, really accepting. She's kind of grown into this. But I think even just it'll be moving towards that. Let's see if they can just sit with their arm around each other and again get to that level of friendship and see where things go. But I don't get why people are forcing things. PJ's just a flipping gent. Absolute lovely, lovely gent. Who I think that's probably why a lot of people have just looked at it and thought if they had the opportunity, they'd be hands-on. So I think that's where maybe a little bit of the hate for Jess is coming from, but it is what it is. Block it out. That moves us nicely on to Kwame and Keisha. Now, I hate the fact that I'm going to come across more real now than ever, but I've just got to say it like it is. Which reminds me, guys, if you're listening at this point, I'm not deleting anything. So whether positive, negative, whether I'm ashamed of it or not, you're not going to see me deleting content, which will answer a few questions I've had on messages. But I've got to be real about Kwame and Keisha because I just don't get it. Just chill, Keisha, as well. And Kwame, I think there's a bit of both. There's going to be, I don't know why he's come on this show a little, where I think you didn't know what you were signing up for, and now here you are, and it's kind of something to take care of. And you kind of do, in a little bit, need to be more open to getting close to that person, giving them some hugs, a bit more, putting your arm around them, and getting to know something that's just a little bit outside your norm. But Keisha, chill, man. Like, oh, please, like, because the more that you're trying, the less sexy it's becoming. So again, this is where it's going to come across negative. But from the guy point of view, let me tell you, it's coming across as not good, and I will leave it there. That's the whole rip. If anyone hasn't seen, and you don't need to, she's gone for this whole pink leotard sexy dance scene. And let's just say there's been rippage, and you've just gone, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on to Richie and Lara. I think this is now going to be, at that moment, it's going to be a tough one to overcome. And I think, unfortunately for Lara, there's going to be a few things that are really difficult to overcome. A lot of these couples aren't communicating well, with the exception of people like the first three, Jordan, Shanita, Jenna and Zoe, Thomas and Adrian, who are doing quite well. Notice the other couples that aren't communicating well. And Lara seems to have what I've seen people calling the ick factor, where she's just now feeling every touch is a little bit too much. And I think that's going to be hard to get over. At least Richie didn't wear a pink leotard and rip it. However, he's trying hard. And I think the more he's trying hard, the less attractive it becomes as well, similar to Keisha. So I wish the best for them. I think they're both genuine people, but that communication, which I thought at the beginning was going to be really strong, I don't think it's that good between these two, unfortunately. And talking about trying too hard, George. He seems like a lovely gent as well, and probably everyone, for me, the most genuine, come from many walks of life. But he's besotted with this lady April, wedding dress shop owner, and it's just, she's checked out. I don't think people can say, I love looking at body language. Recently on an episode, let's just say she made George do something he did not want to do, and sending anyone to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is punishment enough, but then to make a guy who's scared of heights, he had to abseil and go up to the top. She was loving life. He did it, but it wasn't his crowning moment, and again, he smashed it by doing it. But I thought that she's kind of setting him up a little bit. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a setup there. And when she said, there was a little comment about how now he's more attractive to her, but she pursed her lips at the end in a way that just said it. I don't know whether I read this wrong, but it felt like it was a little disgust thing. Like, I don't want to feel more attracted to him because I just don't see it going anywhere. But again, they're at least talking a little bit. And now, guys, kept that as short as I flipping can. We're now moving on. New couples coming in tonight. I randomly know one of them from years ago, a long conversation, a few convos since. A gent called Matt, who's coming on and shared on his socials today. He'll be jumping on the show. And I was what you can only call bamboozled. But Adam, like, married at first sight. Again, we're continuing to grow. We're continuing to show. And we're never going to slow. So yeah, muchos love. Muchos love. Muchos is Spanish. As I told you about. Bilingual, didn't I? So we're still learning. Have a beautiful enjoy tonight, and please let me know what you think. Let me know.